All right, guys, welcome back to Crossman. I am, super excited about today's guest. I've been binge watching. I told you guys the Chosen. I've had several people, come to me and say, "Hey, you got to watch this show, The Chosen. You got to watch it." And I don't know, maybe I've been living under a rock for a while. I never even, at first I didn't even know what it was. So anyway, so I decided, all right, I'm going to go check it out. And so I did. And once I started watching it, man, I absolutely loved the show. So if you guys haven't seen it, you definitely go check it out. And then, from there, I actually ended up meeting Ginger Crossman that I interviewed last week. And Ginger introduced me to Ruben and Gary Martinez. So the guy that I'm bringing on right now, who's today's guest. So I'm super stoked to talk to this guy. So let me go ahead and let's bring Ruben in. What's up, brother?
How's it going? Nice to meet you.
It's great, man. So yeah, I was saying that so I've had several people tell me about The Chosen. And one of my friends that I really respect a lot said that he had a couple that him and his wife like hung out together with that didn't believe in God, and she heard about the wife of that couple heard about the Chosen, and so they decided to watch an episode together, and it kind of helped her actually find her faith. So, and then my friend, he was telling me that he started watching the show, and he's like, every time I watch the show, I have to stop because I always find myself crying in the middle of it. So, anyway, I did just started watching, binge watching the show, and I was like, man, I love the show. It's just, it's cool because I like time period shows. You know what I mean? Especially like shows back like when the Romans, the Roman period. So, anyways, so all that to say, welcome to the show.
Great, thanks.
So, yeah, I wanted to bring you in, and have my audience get to know you and learn about your journey. So I guess we're gonna go in and jump into it. So won't you introduce yourself and let's tell our audience kind of where you were born and raised and what was life like for Ruben growing up?
Well, first of all, you look like a centurion, so you'd be great for the Roman era. So my name is Ruben Gary Martinez. It's a very typical middle name. No. I always laugh because I think my mom and dad ran out of middle names when they ran out. So it's Ruben Gary Martinez. So it's a great Spanish name. I was actually born in El Paso, Texas. I grew up. I'm the youngest of seven. And again, wow. I tell my siblings that when they reach perfection is when they stop. So number seven was me. No, and I grew up in a great family. My mom and dad were strong Christians. Actually, my mother, I would consider like a Paul. She could witness to anybody. I always remember stories that she would tell me when she was on an airplane and she looked into the guy next to her who was a businessman, CEO type, and here's my mother, and just said, if you die today, you know where you're going to go. And the man looked like, wait a minute, am I dying today? Like, what are you saying? But no, that was the kind of person my mother was. My father as well. And growing up with all seven of us, from my oldest sister down to my youngest, to the brother who's just above me. Again, just a very great family, very very tight unit. We always would joke off of each other. So in order to survive, you had to be quick-witted, as well as from my mother and father. So just in that kind of environment, it was fantastic. Just a lot of family, just growing up. I was also a Highlander. So again, little known fact. I went to Bel Air High School, and our mascot is a Highlander, and we actually had a bagpipe band.
Oh,
with
wow.
kilts and played and danced around swords and everything. I was not in that band, but there was a bagpipe band, at least when I was at school. in El Paso, Texas.
Wow, that's odd that they would have Highlanders in El Paso.
Well, I guess we're in the Highlands area.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to the
So,
Lower Valley.
so you're the youngest of 7 kids.
That's
Is it?
correct. That's
Wow.
correct.
I mean, I couldn't imagine having 6 brothers and sisters older than you.
Yes, three brothers, 3 sisters, and so I have the best of both worlds. And they're all 6 of them. All 7 were just amazing, but all 6 of them were just growing up, just learning. Everyone had their unique ability, and we all believed that we were our favorites, of course, to our mother and father. But our parents treated us the same, which is fantastic. And with 7 kids, I don't know how they did that, but they did. Yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. So,
by the way, I was a favorite, just you know.
You were the favorite. That's why they stopped at you. They're like, okay, we hit perfection, so we're good. So, kind of, tell me all this. Kind of, how did you start going and getting into like your passion, your purpose? What kind of drew you towards acting?
So a lot of different factors. Again, like I mentioned, my family growing up, and of course, even just when I went to Baylor as well, and I was a drum major there, and I love just meeting people, and I love just talking to people and really kind of hearing their stories. And as I grew out and started becoming a professional in my career, I traveled different places as well. I've been around all of Europe, all of South America, all of North America, almost every state, and I've been able to speak in front of groups of people. And if for those that know me, I'm very, very comedic. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people just comfortable and just enjoy life. And having that, growing up in that kind of, even in my career, just that kind of led to acting. And it just really was just a straightforward, because again, I love to entertain. I love just making people happy. I'm okay being a tree in the background because I know that tree is very important.
Right.
So even if it's a small tree, but it's still with a lot of hair, it's still very important in the back. And just so just being there as well as about being people. And of course, because I've traveled so many places and also met with so many different people, I've been able to talk to all the way from CEOs all the way down to just people that are picking up trash. And so I treat everyone the exact same as well, even when I'm on set. The crews and the cast that I've been on have been amazing. So again, that kind of led me into acting again, because again, you meet so many different types of people and so many different types of characters. I mean, you can imagine all the different. I can tell you stories. There's so many different, and almost every state is very different. But the funny thing is, all around the world, everyone is the exact same way. You would think it'd be different, but no, the same. Same problems, same things that make them laugh. It's just very similar.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed that on Facebook, you talk about some of the or allude to some of the things that happens on backstage. So
you're saying about it, on The Chosen is a good example. You were talking about how that couple started crying when they were watching it, which you don't see behind the stage and on that specific set, or when you have everyday people that are actors or crew, and they have everyday problems, and you see. So there's actually a spirit moving there as well of God, of course, that when people are being prayed over or just being talked to there, and just that spirit, just ever since season 1 even to now, you still see that. So I'm not surprised in the least that seeing that show, there's a lot of inspiration that happens beforehand, a lot of prayer, even before we even start filming. Dallas, his crew, they pray long before when they're writing, then even to pre-production, and then when we finally do or start filming again, it's just you still feel that spirit all throughout. And I've been very fortunate to be not just on The Chosen set, but other sets where you definitely feel that spirit just moving as well.
Right, and and you tell, you can tell because The Chosen seems to me like just a kind of unique, there's a unique story behind that, and like a unique, I want to say feeling. You know what I mean? Kind of behind watching it. I mean, I binge watch a lot of shows. I have another show that I do. It's the Crossman Pro show. It's a friend of mine. His name's Pro, and we do movie reviews. So we're always binge watching shows and doing reviews on it. But yeah, when I started watching The Chosen, it's just there was something different about it. And then one of the things I really enjoy about the Chosen is the way that Dallas and his group is able to take something we grew up on. We learning the stories in the Bible and kind of giving a backstory on it. You know what I mean? Just like what would it be like to actually follow Christ and what it makes you think of what was really going on. You know what I mean? In the background, when Jesus is off, praying and doing, the things he had to do. You had all these guys sitting there, and they didn't know each other from Adam. When when they first came in, and they all came from different walks of life. Anyway, so seeing that is just it's really cool. So I know I'm going off on the story of this thing, but so. Was there a specific moment in your life growing up that you're like, hey, this is what I want to do? And do you remember that moment?
Got a specific moment. I think I've always been this way, to be honest. I've always loved entertaining. I also do comedy as well. And my brother, who's actually a better comedian than I am, actually, I would say, yeah, he's an improv comic, just amazing, and would always make us laugh. And I think just being brought up in that kind of environment,
right,
from a young time, there was really not a moment that said, you know what, I want to be an actor. It's just more like I just kept on doing what I want, what I felt like God was wanting me to do.
Right.
So, and then, but I've had 10 posts throughout my life where I can say, wow, I love being an actor because of this, or I love just this part because of this. And it's not even just having a speaking part. Even being background, there's still there are times, and we've been on Chosen Set and other sets where I'm just like, wow, I'm glad I was here to see that because of the actors and seeing that so much emotion pulled on there. I saw this film. I'm not sorry, this play actually here in Irving, and just one of the actors just was so amazing. I can't remember the name of the play off the top of my head, but it was just so amazing that he played this man that was getting sick. So when he started after intermission, he came back and he started coughing. I thought, oh my gosh, he's coughing. Somebody bring him some some water or something else, but he was acting, and but seeing the fact that he fooled me, actually thinking that because eventually he dies. Spoiler alert! I don't know the name of the play, but I just spoiled the play. You don't know, but seeing that an actor could do that, and being able, and so I train myself as well. I go to different classes, and when I see actors that can actually do that, and not just the principal actors or support actors, but even when a background can show so much emotion within, not too extravagant, like oh my gosh, nothing like that, but just within the actual scene, it brings so much of that audience into the film. It doesn't distract, but you almost feel that compassion throughout. And I love him. So there are days when, wow, I look, and again, there's so many that I can point to that just, I don't know how to explain it. You're like, well, I'm in the right place right now. And I love doing that because, wow, it's so cool. And I can't wait for people to see it, that kind of excitement. So, but I don't know about an actual time they told me I should be an actor. Maybe I had times when people told me I should not be an actor, but not should. So, yeah.
Cool. So now let me ask you too. I know you do like television and film. Have you ever done like theater as well?
I have a great Cockney accent. Does you wait, Eggins? Does you wait? No. So I've also been at theater as well, and I also do a live show with the Capernaum Studios. They have live shows there as well, and I'll be in the Crimson. Coming up for around Passover, actually on Passover weekend, so Easter weekend. Cool. Yeah, so we're actually rehearsing now. So I've done so that's those type of live shows, and of course theater as well. Cool. I also can sing, which is great.
Where's that going to be?
So the Capernaum Studios, that's based out of Poolville, Texas, just north of Weatherford.
Okay.
And every year they've had, other than right around when the pandemic happened, of course, but they've had a show around Easter, which was called the Passover Experience. Now it's called the Crimson Experience. They had shows around Christmas time, and then they had one around Halloween as well. But they're now this year they're doing one called the Crimson, which they made a film about it.
Right.
And again, little fact, I was a background in that film, but yeah, now they also have this now live show that they do as well. You walk through, and it's this immersive experience.
Right. That's one of the things too that I kind of miss from the pandemic is used to, like, especially when I was growing up, churches always would have some kind of like play for Christmas or or Easter, and then kind of the pandemic kind of shut all that down. But I'm always looking, when it comes that time of year for Easter and Christmas, I'll always look for churches always putting on a production that. I love going to see like live theater when they do it. So we have to get the information so I can post it on so we can.
Oh, definitely.
Yes,
and by the way, I was always the shepherd or a wise man in the church's production of whatever Christmas play.
But so growing up, my parents were youth pastors. So when I was little, I would get thrown all the little Christmas plays with the being the shepherds, So
I was a tree. I was a Christmas tree.
So that was a lot of fun. So let me ask you, doing theater, and I ask people all this, all the time that does theater and acting. Do you find one more challenging than the other?
Wow, that's a great question because obviously the obvious answer is theater is more challenging because you have to know the lines and you can't just not know them and then cut and then now you go look at your line kind of thing, and it's live. But there's also parts of film where you need to know not just the line but actually the emotion and really get into that mindset. So sometimes like a distraction here, and a lot of people realize that. So they'll go on set and they'll want to talk to the principal actor, but there's a lot of time that's been spent prior to that, just really focusing on what needs to be done and getting into that mindset of I'm this person, whatever. I need to bring this emotion, whether laughing or sad or just inquisitive, whatever. Right. But so that's very challenging as well. But if I were to choose one or the other, I'd say definitely theater. Theater is harder because you have to be more. You're playing to the last row, if you will. Right. So you have to be more big, which, by the way, does not translate into film. So if you're a theater actor, when you went to film, don't play to the last. You're playing to the camera right in front of you. Yeah, so you don't need to play to the last row. But so little things like that I would say the theater's more challenging.
Cool. So and to me, just doing something live and have to remember your lines and be on the spot. I don't know. I feel like I'd freeze on something like that. But there's a lot of actors that do that. That even come in on film. And they'll learn their lines the very same day. Just go out there and do it. So I don't know. Just live theater, I guess. I guess if you're used to being in front of a bunch of people, it probably isn't bad. You know what I mean? But for me, I'd be a lead role that ended up being the tree because I'd just be frozen.
Well, I also do improv as well, and so again, it's just just being there. And of course, you have no lines, but you still have to you have to do whatever you need to do based on the people just decide whatever suggestion they have. Right. So even then, being there again, it's just getting that focus. Right. But even though it's challenging, the best thing about theater and improv or even comedy is you get to feed off of the audience, which you can't really do when it comes to film because you're playing to a camera. Right. But so having that in the theater and in improv is fantastic, and you can see right away. But so that translates also in film because if you're a background actor, the principal actors are drawing off of the supporting characters and the background. So when you're really in that kind of emotion or that feeling or in that mood, if you will, they're actually feeding off of you as well, which is great because then it makes it more real for that actor as well. So again, you get the both side, but I can definitely see you as a treat.
So let me ask you this: on I'm trying to remember what I just lost my train of thought. So, since you've done so many, you've done a lot of films and doing theater. what's the biggest lesson, I guess, that you've learned through that?
Wow. No, I would say so. Probably it would be know your crew and know your cast and know what parts they play. Sometimes the thing, if you've been around me for any time, I always tell you, I will always say, put the best person for the job in that job. So if that person is the locations manager and they're the ones picking up trash, respect them. They're doing their job to the best they can. If that person is the lighting person, the grip, the director, they know where they come from and they're coming with this great advice. But as far as an actor, know your lines. I would say know your lines and really research prior to coming in. And the more you do about understanding that character, and it might be a character that's completely made up, you don't even know, they just made up and the writer just created it up. But still understand who that person is. So when you play that person, then you kind of can play it to that level, with the caveat. Make sure that's within the same vision as the director and the writer, so you're not doing something way off base, but something that stays current, and that really plays off of it very well. And especially if you come in you know your lines, you come in very professional, you know your role, and you respect the people there. It adds so much. It's so much. They're more unity, if you will. Everything flows so greatly when you can see that. When you see people that come in, they're so prepared, they're ready to go. And it adds it for more fun, because even then you might have your lines, but the way you play off your character. And the other advice I would say is, if you get an opportunity, meet your co-stars, meet those people. If you're a principal actor, not if your background, don't bother the principal, but if you're in that role as a principal actor, get to know them, understand how they are, meet with them prior to film or theater, or even during rehearsal, so that you can actually have that kind of bond, if you will. And then people will see that, they're like, man, those two people really love each other. Because there have been times where you might not like that person, they might not like you either, but when they go on film, because you already created that bond, it's like, wow, they must love each other. And no, they don't.
Well,
but it's all about preparation.
The kind of those, we've met different acting communities. I've met an awesome group in Florida, and then we just recently met another community in Little Rock. And one of the things I noticed about them is that they're independent filmmakers, so and independent actors. And one of the things I noticed about them, they work on a lot of projects together. So they do several projects. And when you talk to them, it's like they're like family. It's like you're bringing a whole family of people in on, and even like when I bring one in and interview them, I have all the rest of them in, on the comments chiming in, still showing support, So I think that's awesome. And, and I think too that just makes working on a project that much more fun when you get to, when you meet the people and get to know them, and then you become friends with them. And then when you work on other projects, I think it makes the next project even easier, because you're working with people you already know.
Well, so I take that same tact. So whenever I'm on a set, and if anybody's been on the chosen set, they know right away. I come in first thing, I go, hey, what's up, party people? I get people excited. And but I love meeting people. Again, it doesn't matter if they first time ever acted. Some of them are a lot of fans, so they're there just because they're fans. But they have a story, and so I love going to each person and just introducing myself and just talking, and really not really to meet so they can meet me, but so I can meet them. Because again, it's so great, and I've met some amazing actors, actresses, and even business people. They're just doing it for one time, and then don't ever want to do it again because it's so hard and hot, whatever, or so hard and cold. Depends on the time of the year. But just getting to know them, and it's a wealth of I find myself rich because I've known so many people that are on chosen set and other sets, and just hearing them and being there. So even to the point that I've actually had people come up to me later on and say, hey, can you pray for me? Or, hey, thank you for talking to me, or thank you for just smiling at me, or thank you just for acknowledging I'm there, because they might not be seen on set. I mean, as often, again, I get to be seen on set a lot, but
Right.
they might not get to. But just the fact that they're there and having that relationship, and not just on the crew, but I mean on the cast, but also on the crew as well.
Right.
The great thing about, you mentioned it's almost like a family, goes from set to set to set.
Right.
I've seen the same, a lot of the same crew on different sets before, and I've just been so fortunate to get to know all these people. They're just amazing. Some are very young, some are older, some again middle aged, but just amazing people, and just their stories and what they've done, and just to the expert level that they do. I'm totally blessed and so wealthy because of it as well.
Right. And that's a kind of like how it's been with this show, just sitting down and get to, and that's why one of the reasons I do this is to understand, put down the technology and take the time and get to know people that you're around every day, and hear their stories, because you never know first of all, you never know what that person's going through, the things that they're going through in life. And then you never know, their story can be something that really inspires and encourages you too. So and I see that because and I know that you have an influence, because when I interviewed Ginger's like, hey, I have the perfect person that you got to have on the show. So
who's Ginger? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
So that's why she introduced you, because you take the time, you get to know people, and then like she's a big fan of yours, so she's like,
well, it's funny. I do love making people laugh on set. I'll be honest. Ginger was one that she has a great laugh. so having and again, because it makes people comfortable, because you're no longer stressed like, oh, I'm here, I can't believe it, what do I do? It's more just relaxing. And now I don't joke on set.
Right.
Prior to set, maybe a few times, don't tell anybody that secret. But just to get them comfortable and relax, because you're supposed to have fun. I say this all the time. If you're doing something that's not fun, if you're not having fun doing it, then why are you doing it? Yeah. And I think it's something here that just making them laugh. And again, Ginger, one of many, just I love, just there's so much joy. And again, and everyone having that same joy together. Who wouldn't want to be there? I mean, it's almost like a party, if you will, beforehand. But it's not. Again, I'm just
right.
But maybe it is. I don't know. It might be. That's what they're party people.
Right. So I mean, I know what you're saying too is, having fun on there and doing something you enjoy. It doesn't seem like work. You know what I mean? Because you're doing something that you really love doing. Which is why it's your passion. And it's why it's your purpose too, because that this is what God created you to do.
Right.
And so that's awesome. So let me ask you this: is there a particular role or a particular movie or person that you would love to play in a film or on television?
Gosh, a character or person. Wow, there's so many. I love the comedic role, and I love the dramatic role. So having a dramatic comedic, like a rom-com kind of thing, I love as well. And I guess I've been so many different people. I've been from a Native American, because I'm Native American. I'm part Apache, but having that role all the way to a biblical role, to a drug cartel role. But I guess, as I say that, I do love playing the bad guy. I do love, oh man, if I could play a villain, and I did, and I've done it multiple times now, and just, I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe it's just, you look at comedians like Robin Williams. Robin Williams is a great comedian, but he also played a very sinister bad guy as well. So having that kind of role. And of course, even like the dramatic role, like Good Will Hunting, where he played as well. So having those types of roles, I don't know if there's an actual character. Of course, everyone's going to say superhero, right? But and it goes, I don't have to, because I'm already a superhero, because they already see me that way. I'm blind, but something went related to the hair, I guess. But no, I don't know. There's been so many. It's hard to pin down, because I love playing different roles. Again, like I said, I was a British character on theater. I was the drug cartel leader. I was
Right.
biblical character. I've been Peter. I've been shepherd. I've been you name it. And then
Right.
again, of course, since I'm Hispanic, I get to play the Hispanic roles. And again, I like playing also just regular person, like on the street kind of thing, like having a conversation. So again, just things.
Right.
So again, it's just having that. I don't know. That's really hard for me because I love the comedy, I love the drama, I love the villainous side, I love the hero side as well. But
Right.
so maybe you know what? Maybe the Dallas Cowboy. That's all. Yeah, Roger Staubach. I'll be Roger Staubach.
I see you pull out the rope.
Yeah, I look just like him. Yeah, so that
Right.
when he does his biopic, come find me. I'll be here. I'll be available.
All right, so keep that in mind, Roger. So, yeah. What I was going to say is what I think is funny is some of the nicest people I've met. Olivia Disney, Sean Cronin, even Michael McGlone. Some of the people that I've met, so the nicest people, love playing villains in films. And the thing is that when you meet them and talk to them in person, coolest people in the world. I mean, they're just like the nicest people. And then you go watch them on film, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that they pulled off that villain role the way they did. So yeah, and I can see how playing a villain, would be like, a lot of fun to do too. So, well, cool. So, now you've done, a lot of films. So let's talk about, we know you've done the Chosen. So what's some of the other past projects that you've done?
Wow, I've learned a lot. So one that's right now I'm very proud of is a movie called Insure. Rosa Nichols was a director, and and it's Insure as in the name of the drink, like the Insure drink,
right
that older people drink, or anybody can drink, of course. I'm not ageist. Anybody can drink that, but this one specifically is tied to older people. That one was just a joy. I played a homeless man, and just I can't tell you much, but just the fact that it's been winning so many awards, I love being a part of that. Another one I did was called Eating with the Enemy, and that's again about Judas Iscariot, and so his role and what he did as the enemy is eating. And I was one of the disciples there. But that said, I tell you, just being there, Brett Miller, just amazing, and Carrie, just amazing directors, and just the Spirit of God just moved there. All of us, I'd say all 13 of us, the 12 and the one, Jesus. And then the other characters, we all became like family. It just was a joy to be around them. I've also, Guardians was another one with Chase and Lang, which just came out. That's on Pureflix. That was a great one. Again, I played an evil character, bad character. Of course, I'm doing a comedy called Declaration, which is coming out. We haven't filmed yet, but I'm pretty excited about that as well. Vindication, another one. I don't know if you heard of Vindication. Jared Flahart, he also, again, amazing director. I played a Spanish guy in the second season. So I believe I'm the only one who spoke Spanish in the entire series. So Jared might correct me, but I don't know. But it was definitely a fun role to play with Todd Terry. But yeah, so I've done a lot. And I'm also a producer and a writer. I wrote a series called Paul the Last Apostle. I had a co-writer as well, so 2 writers, and so that was a lot of fun producing and writing and acting. And there I was Aquila, so that hasn't been released yet. But again, that was a joy and wonderful cast, wonderful crew, great. Again, the Spirit of God was moving in there as well, which is fantastic. But there's just been so many that just again. But probably the one I loved the most again was that Eating with the Enemy. I just saw the character. His name is Sean. His real name is Sean. And I just saw him in another. He played Jesus again. He was Jesus in that. Even with the Enemy, he played Jesus again in this other one that was filmed by Christ for All the Nations, which comes out in Easter time. But just seeing him again and seeing my other friends like Dino and others, just seeing them again, you just feel like we're home. Yeah, because we had such a wonderful time that one week, just filming. So just seen that as well.
Cool.
But yeah, so it just, and of course, The Chosen, of course. There's so many gosh, there's so many. I can't remember all of them, but yeah, just each one has been a joy, and they're not all been Christian. I've been in other ones that were not Christian. Again, just amazing people to be around as well.
Cool. I was going to say, and this may be a kind of tough question, but is there like of all the roles you've done, that one is like really stood out that you're like,
wow,
this is my favorite of, if somebody's like, hey, you had to give them one movie you were in to go see, which one would it be?
Wow. Gosh. Wow. I guess because I've done things recently I can't talk about yet.
Right.
But there's one I can't talk about that I really had a great time. But again, I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you what it was about either. But gosh, I do. Again, I go back to the bad character on Guardians, playing. I think his name was Hugo, which is the drug cartel leader. That was very intense, and just the fact that we're in a building that had no air conditioning on, and I was wearing a suit. With my fellow cast members calling me a car salesman because I looked like a car salesman as well. But I was sweating. That was real sweat coming down. But playing that role again, it was just a little part, but again, just bringing that out was a lot of fun. Just being able to bring that. Another one was the soldier that I played. Again, I was like a wine cellar. You had that picture on that post that was from the soldier. Again, that was a lot of fun. There was actually more lines on that, but because we didn't have certain props we could use, but I get just a lot of fun on there as well. And then just of course when I just did with being Aquila, just being able to play that role, and also because I wrote it and wrote that specific part, just having seen that actually performing it, and then actually seeing the rest of that was a lot of fun to do that as well. So again, I think I covered all in the improv, okay, and also improv. Yeah, make sure I cover every single thing I've done. And then singing, when I sing, and my cantata for my church, just those. No, so those, there's a lot of different. But if people want to see, again, Guardians would be the one, and right now that you can see on Pureflex, and that would definitely take a look at that if you want to see me as a bad guy. A little slide story on that. I take acting lessons from Mark Craig, who's a fighting actors coach, and he does this. He used the Chubbuck method, and we did this class recently. And I played Philip Seymour Hoffman from the movie Doubts, and it was acting out with one of my friends, Mary, and just pulling that role of who that father in that role. That one of the ladies was watching, she came up to me, was like, man, I hated you. I couldn't stand you. I knew you were acting, but oh my gosh, you pulled that angry. I just did not. That's what I loved. So seeing that, I would say yes. Look at Guardians. Yeah, that would, you might not like me, but that would be a great one.
Cool. Pro and I talk about this too. Whenever you watch, the villains in different shows, you ever wonder if the villain watches about after the project's out and they see themselves, they're like, wow, I really hate being this.
If I can get people to cry or get mad at me because they don't like me, yes, I've done my job. And the same thing on a non-villain role, of course. If I people get cheer for me and they're like, oh my gosh, you look that, that's fantastic. Let them do that. But seeing people react to you, and even when they come back to me later, they're like, man, I saw you in that role. Again, and there's been so many, and I'm very fortunate. I don't say that to be boastful, but I've been very fortunate being so many that people come to me like, I really loved you as a background. It's interesting, like when you did that, or whenever, even when of course the other ones that they've come out where I'm speaking, they're like, oh, I didn't know you could speak. but again, just bringing that forward, I love it. That's something that's why I love acting. I love that, and as well as even the improv, I love that piece. Get that emotion as well.
Cool. Now, you talk about writing a couple. Have you ever thought about directing and producing like your own film?
So I produced this last one with Paul Lastball. So and I always go back to what I said earlier: put the best person in the job that can do the job the best, right?
Right.
I'm not a director, so I don't want to come across as a director. I can't even direct myself. Yeah, typical guy when you ask for directions. Yeah, so
Right.
like I just want finding my way. But I've been very fortunate again, just recently working with Ruthie Grumbine as the director of Paul Last Possible and other directors that have, when you see a true director really looking in, that's been trained, it does a research, that knows all the detail and knows
Right.
exactly where they're going, has a vision, and that they got from the writer or from a producer. It's just
Right.
amazing to see them in action. I couldn't do that. I'll be the first one to say no. Go
Right.
find another director. Maybe I'll direct a small little piece, but no, I'm not.
Right.
But definitely producing, no problem. Executive producing, no problem. Acting, great. Writing, no problem.
Right.
I can help you maybe I can be a PA, no problem as well. I can pick up trash, no problem, easy. I can be the best trash picker upper you've ever hired.
Right.
But again, director, no, don't even come this way.
Wow. Well, cool. So let me ask you, for the audience who are trying to follow, you and your projects, what's the best way for them to see your projects and follow you? And
So I do have a Facebook fan page that I update as well, and of course I also have Instagram as well that I do the same thing, but a little bit different because it's Instagram. Of course, you have to have a video or picture.
Right.
And then of course my IMDb page has been updated as well, so people can use that as on there. But I've actually again, even through Facebook, that'd be another place they can reach out to me. I'm very easygoing. People will come over and have ideas. And I'm working actually with, I forgot to mention, another film that that we're writing together with my friend Debbie Paulson.
Okay.
And so again, it's called Still Small Voice, which is with Elijah, and which that is actually won awards recently in LA.
Oh wow.
Debbie, she went there. So just amazing. So, but yeah, so that'll be in one place. Or if you find me on set, I will definitely lend an ear. If I'm able to, if we have the time,
Right.
I'll definitely lend an ear, and I'll, or if you find me, out and about, and you want to talk, that's fine too. Yeah, I'm very approachable. I mean, once you take your autograph and your picture, that's fine. I'll play. But no, I definitely. Or if you want to see me in improv again, I take classes at 4-day weekend.
Okay.
So again, and that's the one in Fort Worth. But again, yeah, if you ever people want to reach, that's another way as well. I'm very easygoing. Or if you have the white pages. No. Who has the white pages?
The old phone book.
I'm under R. Martinez. If I don't answer, or sometimes I always use this joke. Sometimes I'll call you. I'm always calling people if they want to extend their car warranty, but they never answer their phone. They never answer. I'll call you. I know your number already. I'll reach out to you. So.
Yeah, just to know, that's a true statement because I kept, whenever I sent out the invite to you to be on the show, I kept looking. I'm like, well, maybe he hasn't gotten it yet, And then all of a sudden I get a phone call. Hey, Ruben on the phone. I'm like,
I don't mind. Again, phone call. I have a fax. I do have a fax machine too, so I can. If you want to fax me, I can.
So, yeah, that was funny because I'm like Ruben, who knows? Oh, Ruben Martinez. Oh, okay.
Definitely.
So yeah, that was great. So well, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. I had a lot of fun getting to know you. We did the Cross Approach show yesterday, and I was telling them about the casting out there in Midlothian. It's only about an hour away from where I'm at, so I'm like, what? I'm going to go out there and try to audition. So I don't know. We'll see. I would love to play a soldier. I would love to play like a Roman soldier on that. So
I can see you. I can definitely see you as a Roman soldier, and you don't even have to even audition. They'll probably just see you like, yeah, come on in.
They'll put me in.
Yeah, no problem. Or Greek soldier, please.
Right. So that would be awesome. I would love to do that. So yeah. So again, thank you so much, brother, for being on the show. It was, I had a blast getting to know you, man, and I look forward to seeing all the stuff you're working on. As a matter of fact, you're talking about The Guardian. I was like, I saw that the other day on your Facebook. I'm like, hey, I gotta go check that out. I gotta see what that one is. So That'll
You're
be the
gonna
next
like
one I'm
it.
watching, just so you know.
Yeah, you're gonna like it. I guarantee you. It's only like I think it's 5 episodes. You'll binge watch it with one day. I met when we did the premiere, the red
Right.
carpet premiere. We watched all of them, and yeah, just Chasen had a great idea. It's Christian based,
Right.
and but it's still like wow. There's a little bit like action, like well, there's action in a Christian movie. Wait,
Right.
what do you think? Yeah, that's not in my. Wait a minute, it is in the book of the Bible. Yeah, you can definitely yes, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy that one as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, and then what I'll do too is I'm going to put all the links to your social media in the details. That way, people can follow and see all the projects you can't talk about now.
Yeah.
But you will be able to,
Oh, you will.
Yeah, you'll be able
months.
to keep up and see those. So, again, thank you so much for being on.
Not a problem. Thanks again.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us on the Crossman Production Show. I really want to thank Ruben for being on. Super nice guy. So, definitely go check out all the projects that he's been on. The Chosen, Guardian, all of them, Vindication, all of them. So, until next time, remember, you are uniquely designed with a purpose, and always keep moving forward. Peace.